The internet is absolutely spiraling right now over Lotto's baby shower and whether or not 21 Savage showed up. And before we get into all of it, let me give you the full picture because there is a lot more context here than what people are running with on social media. So on March 19th, Lotto announced to the world that she is pregnant, and the very next day she dropped her single business and personal, which served as the official confirmation of her pregnancy announcement. And look, the timing was intentional. The rollout was intentional. This woman is a strategic artist, and she handled her pregnancy reveal like a professional. So let us give her credit for that first. Now, the baby daddy in this situation is 21 Savage, and these two have reportedly been in a relationship since around 2020, keeping things extremely private for years, until Lotto finally confirmed to TMZ a few months ago that 21 Savage is in fact her man. And shortly after that, 21 Savage himself posted Lotto on his Instagram stories in a way that functioned as his own quiet confirmation that yes, he is that baby's father. But here is where the conversation gets complicated and where the internet has been losing its mind. 21 Savage is already married. He has 2 children with his wife, and nobody outside of their inner circle knows exactly what the status of that marriage actually is right now, whether they are separated, whether it is purely a legal situation on paper, whether they are still together in any real sense. None of that has been publicly clarified, and that ambiguity is sitting right at the center of everything people are debating about this baby shower situation. So here is what happened. Lotto had her baby shower, and the only footage that made it online came from 2 clips posted by Lotto's father. And in those 2 specific clips, 21 Savage is not visible. And that is literally all the internet needed to collectively decide that 21 Savage skipped his own child's baby shower and is somewhere at home with his wife and kids, while Lotto celebrated this major milestone without him. But here is the thing that I need people to actually think about before running with that narrative. We have 2 clips, just 2, from an entire baby shower that clearly had a significant number of people in attendance. And those 2 clips happen to not show 21 Savage, and somehow that has been treated as definitive proof that he was not there at all, and that logic does not hold up when you think about it seriously. There is also a photo circulating online where people are pointing to what appears to be 21 Savage's head in the corner of the frame. And while it is genuinely hard to confirm from that image alone, the fact that it exists at all raises a very legitimate question about whether he was actually present and just not the focus of what was being captured on camera. And here is another angle that nobody is really talking about enough. It is very likely that Lotto asked her guests not to post anything from the baby shower on social media, because the fact that the only content that made it online came from her father's phone, and honestly, by all accounts, that footage was not exactly high production quality, suggests that either everyone else respected a no posting request, or her father posted something he was not supposed to post. And either way, what we are left with is a massive information gap that the internet immediately filled with the worst possible assumption. Now, I am not here to tell you that 21 Savage was definitely at that baby shower, because I genuinely do not know, and nobody outside of that room does either. But I am also not going to sit here and tell you he definitely was not there, based on 2 clips from 1 camera, at one moment during what was clearly a much larger event. What I will say is that the optics of this entire situation are genuinely complicated, and have been complicated from the beginning, because the reality is that 21 Savage is a married man who is now having a child with someone who is not his wife. And regardless of what the actual status of his marriage is, the public perception of that situation creates a very specific kind of pressure that could absolutely explain why he would want to keep his presence at this baby shower as low-key as possible. And people have been pointing out that when 21 Savage was with Amber Rose, he was very publicly visible. He was out at events, he was photographed, he was not hiding. So the level of privacy he is maintaining with Lotto feels deliberate and feels like it is specifically connected to the married man situation, rather than just being a general preference for keeping his personal life out of the spotlight. Now, some people online are defending the situation by saying that in certain parts of the country, it is actually not that unusual for the baby's father to not attend the baby shower, because traditionally, baby showers are considered more of a women's event. And while that is a fair cultural point, it kind of misses the larger issue here, which is not really about whether he attended the shower itself, but about the broader pattern of 21 Savage seemingly not wanting to be publicly seen or associated with Lotto in this. Pregnancy in any visible way, and at Lotto's level because she is a genuinely successful and respected artist, the idea that she would be kept as a secret or treated as something that needs to be hidden is something that a lot of people are finding genuinely troubling, and are very vocal about. And then there is the other side of this conversation that is worth acknowledging, which is the group of people online who are saying that everyone needs to back off and let these two handle their relationship and their pregnancy on their own terms. And that Lotto already told the world that 21 Savage is her baby's father, and people should respect the fact that they want to keep things private. And honestly, that perspective is not wrong either. There is something to be said for the fact that just because someone is a public figure does not mean every detail of their personal life needs to be performed for public consumption. And Lotto has been very deliberate about how she has shared this pregnancy, and she deserves to have that intentionality respected. But here is where I land on all of this. The reason this conversation is happening so loudly and so passionately is not because people are simply being nosy. It is because the circumstances of this situation raise real questions about how Lotto is being treated and whether the man who is going to be the father of her child is showing up for her in the ways that matter. And those are questions that resonate with a lot of people, especially women who have watched someone they care about navigate a complicated situation with a man who is not fully available. And that emotional resonance is why this baby shower moment hit the internet the way it did. At the end of the day, Lotto is about to be a mother. She is clearly building something beautiful for her child. Her baby shower looks stunning. Angel Reese showed up to celebrate her. Her family was there, and whatever 21 Savage's role is going to be in this child's life, that is ultimately between the two of them and the choices they make going forward. What we can say with certainty is that Lotto is handling this entire journey with grace and professionalism, and she deserves all of the love and support that is coming her way, regardless of what is or is not happening with her relationship. Congratulations to Lotto on her pregnancy, and we will absolutely be watching how this story continues to develop, because something tells me this is far from the last chapter of this conversation.